so we are live. And you'll start to see people showing up. So we're going out to the Cedar Swamp first?
Right.
All right, let's do this. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm using a headset today to try and avoid that sound cutting in and out. Hopefully that works and people can hear me, although it's a little windy. So, Fischer, we are driving today. Greg is the one, of course, holding the camera, and I am responsibly putting on a seatbelt. We are going to go search for evidence of Pine Barrens tree frogs. Not necessarily thinking that we're going to find Pine Barrens tree frogs today, although we might see some in trees, and we will definitely look for them. But we're not gonna actively try to pick any up or anything. But we are going to look for them and for these to be on Stockton's campus. They need really, really acidic conditions, and more acidic conditions than most amphibians that are in this area. And we'll talk to you a little bit about it. So without further ado, let's... There we go. All right, do we have anybody on, Greg?
Yeah, we got 10 people.
10 people already? Oh, man. We were just notified this morning that the New Jersey, Center for Parents and Children just put us on as their Friday field trip. I hope that continues to be a thing. Next week, we're going to have a fun time and tour some of our sustainability initiatives on Stockton's campus. So why don't you zoom out to where we're going. I'll tell a little people about what we're doing here. So for all of those who are signing on, thank you and welcome for coming on. Hopefully you can't just let me know. If you can go on Facebook and just make sure. So for those of you that don't know, we're on Stockton's campus right now, just at the summit of the Pine Barrens. It's 100 acres of Pine Barrens forest with wetlands and streams and lakes. And it's a great place, and a lot of it is fed with trails. We have a lot of fun hiking through it, and today what we're going to be doing is searching for the Pine Barrens tree frog, or rather evidence of the Pine Barrens. One of our professional science master's students, Greg Fischer. We're actually going to start with the place that we visited last week on this live stream, which is the Atlantic White Cedar Swamp, which is a great place for Pine Barrens tree frogs. And as always, if anybody has any questions at all, please to make up an answer, because that's what we do best. Much prettier day than we had last time. Also, for anybody who's signing on, if you can just give me a shout out as to who you are, where you're coming from, where you're listening from. If you are a Stockton student, great. Let us know. If you're not, and if you're just listening, let's know if you're interested in this. All right, actually, can you just put this, shoot it on me for a second? Guys, let me know if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, I got to change stuff up. All right? Did you sign on, see?
I didn't listen to audio because it would make a feedback.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can do it while we're going out. All right, so we are of the campus right now, not of the property, but of the campus. Yes, good, excellent. We're on the southern edge of the campus, and if you know, I think we're by lot 7, I believe. Yeah, since we were last live stream, and what we're going to do is hike back into the Atlantic White Cedar Swamp. This is where Greg has his audio cam, not a picture cam, but an audio cam. It's listening for sounds in the forest. This is a great way for us to detect whether or not there is a pine Barrens tree. Camera that listens for sounds. It's a very high-def microphone, and he can just put it up there all day long and come back a few days later and listen for the sounds. So it's on the southern edge of the campus. You guys, anyone, it's a public campus, so you guys are welcome to come on in and enjoy this trail yourself. We just ask that you be respectful of nature. This is a very protected habitat. We've made it for your enjoyment so that you can learn, so that you can appreciate. But of course, please pick up after yourself and after other people when you come on in. Make sure that you leave the place prettier than when it was before. So while let's talk a little bit about so the Pine Barrens tree frog has a very, very isolated area that it lives. As the name implies, it likes pine areas. And
the Carolinas, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. And there's been one sighting in Georgia, but
Alabama,
Panhandle of Florida, the Carolinas.
And the Carolinas. There you go. So, I mean, this species is really everywhere. The New Jersey, so it is a frog, and it likes to hang out in trees during the day, and it does have little sucker, so it has those little sucker fingers which allow it to climb up into the trees and hang out there. And all day long it just listens for other calls, and it likes grasshoppers,
spiders, flies, a lot of small invertebrates, little insects.
So pretty much anything that it can grab. That it can fit into its tiny little mouth. Now, these tree frogs are not very large. These tree frogs what?
Maybe a little bit bigger than 3 centimeters.
Did I get my 3? Is it 3 inches?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be 3 inches.
Closer to 2 inches. But yeah, they're not that big.
So, if you were with me last week, you should recognize this this bridge, a little less shaky. Before looks like my audio is doing okay, but my video is still cutting in and out. Joys of being on a 4G connection, folks. Now, Greg, you're going to have to speak fairly loudly because not only can they not hear you all that well, but we've also got airplane hovering above, and I've got headphones on. And
with the pink tape there.
Ah, I see. So we've got one recorder right there.
It's on the back side.
Okay.
Just so people wouldn't see it.
Now, why did you choose to put it there?
So I chose a little ditch right there that has some standing water in it.
Okay.
I did not put it closer to the because they don't really like running water as much as standing water.
Okay.
And the microphone has a pretty good range.
Okay.
So anything in this whole area of cedar swamp really should get picked up.
Did the manufacturer say what the range actually is?
Nope.
No. Okay. All right, let's down. Let's check out the here. Now notice that Greg is wearing long pants despite the fact that it is 80 degrees out. And of course, anyone from the New Jersey Pine Barrens will tell you that is to protect yourself from ticks and chiggers, the most awful of things.
And both this and my shirt are treated with permethrin.
And both that and history reference. I can't say that I am, but I also, this is something that you should be aware of, Greg, as well as you. And Greg is graduate student. So I'm working with amphibians. Very sensitive to that, so please make sure that you do not have any chemicals on your skin should you ever find an amphibian and want to pick it up, because you will probably kill it by getting those chemicals on its skin. As it turns out, you can't use regular nitrile gloves either, because they tend to have powder on them. So that is,
So I have to say.
I think it was like $500 or something.
$500.
Yeah, it was something. That's okay. So Greg, like many of our graduate students at Stockton, we find money to help them in support of projects. And so this is that I probably use it for many, many different types of projects. Bluetooth enabled, so he is connecting to it now. That's great.
Yeah, I just have this app here, and it pings constantly with the recorder, and so I don't know if it says received just now, and I can click this button for the status, and that's the firmware update. But if I scroll down, it tells you what the recorder's name is, the internal temperature. It actually has a thermometer in the recorder, and at the start of every recording, it will record the temperature and store it in the metadata of the recording.
Now, why is temperature important?
So the Pine Barrens tree frogs are most active on
Now, hang on a second, because the video might have just cut out. You said that they're most active on humid and warm nights.
Correct, yes. When the temperature is more than 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And so if we're able to record the temperature at the time when we hear them call, then maybe we'll find out a little more about them.
Parents tend to be calling in late May, early June. They'll pretty much be shut off by late July, or sorry, by early July. So this is a great time. So what are you doing right now then?
So right now, the problem is that you can't just transfer fire. Battery life significantly. So what you have
Not
to
of your
do,
phone, but of this. There's actual
correct,
batteries in
right.
this.
Yeah, it just runs off of AA batteries, 4 AA batteries. And the app is very convenient in that it tells you the battery life remaining. So right now, this has been out here for almost, let's see, this has been 5 days that it's been out here, and I've had it running for like 2 weeks just to test it and make sure it was working. And it's only down to 98%.
Oh, wow. So we could really probably leave this thing out for a month. My phone has a close-up of that. You know, this is just like a microphone that you might have in your smartphone, just extremely high def and listening for the forest. And, you know, if you've ever gone out to a forest at night and just heard all the sounds come alive, I mean, this thing is telling us what the soundscape of the forest is.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things with this kind of audio recorder is that you can actually set a program that tells it exactly when to record. So if you only want it to record at night, during certain times, you can do that. So like I actually have it set to record every hour from 9 to 5 a.m., 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., and it records for the first 5 minutes of every hour, with the reasoning behind that being that the SD card and the batteries would drain minutes at least once during the week that this recorder is going to be at this site.
Awesome.
So I can open up the cover of the recorder so you can get a look at the guts.
Yeah, let's take a look at the guts of the recorder. Oh my God, can you believe it? The guts of the recorder are mostly a battery pack and a memory card. Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's really not that complicated. It's just the batteries in the SD card, and then the behind that.
So
If you wanted to do stereo recording, you could buy another microphone, but it was an outrageous price, so mono recording will be fine
oh
for
man,
our purposes.
if you had just done that, we could have made a recorded mixtape and sold it. Oh well.
No Pine Barrens Tree Frog mixtape this time. Maybe next time.
So you got anything? So you said that you actually have to change out the card.
Yeah, I would have to change out the SD card.
Okay.
But if you just check the status, it tells you how many recordings there are. So it tells you that there are 95 recordings currently on that SD card.
Oh wow.
And so it's used 1.44 gigabytes of the SD card. But it's a 128 gigabyte SD card, so that's only like
Not that old, but I'm old enough to remember the floppy disks. That is a huge amount of memory. Ecology would never have been able to do this 20 years ago. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really impressive piece of technology, and it's pretty expensive, but for
all right, so while we're out here, so this is that little mucky area that he was talking about. This is kind of where they might like to just hang out, and like any frog, they dry out. Well, then you have French toast frog. I guess French toast is moist. It's not right. All right, so for those of you that don't know, it says we don't have a recording of a tree frog. Measurements. We are here to take measurements of pH and temperature and dissolved oxygen. All of the things that we're figuring out where from. But so the whole idea here is to find out what is the optimum habitat for tree frogs. And the recordings will tell us if the Pine Barrens tree frogs are there, and if they're not there, then we have to ask the question, well, why are they there? Because so they've been detected on Stockton's campus before. And Pine Barrens tree frogs, there's 3 different species of tree frogs in the Pine Barrens here. There's the eastern gray tree frog, and then there's the Pine Barrens gray tree frog. Now, the call of the Pine Barrens tree frog is very different from the tree frog and the Cope's tree frog. Correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but the Pine Barrens tree frog sound. I'm very good at being a frog.
It's a little faster than that. It's like 25 times in 20 seconds.
I'm not that good. Still, it's all different. It's got this beautiful lavender stripe down its sides, and then if you're looking. They actually look very similar to one another. The calls are slightly different. The northern, yes, people call them the northern. The has high pitched trill, like. I can't do it. My voice is cracking because I'm going through. And the post has a deeper trill. Prong, prong. No, are you sure? All right. Well,
to the human ear, it's pretty much indiscernible. Like you really can't tell them apart unless you really know what you're
maybe
doing.
To your ear. All right, let's do some recording if you just know up on your own. Like any responsible ecologist, Greg is taking some measurements, although it is not on Right in the Rain paper, folks. Oh, I keep on forgetting. It is not on Right in the Rain paper, folks. For a true aquatic ecologist, I cannot tell you how many times I've lost data because I haven't written it on Right in the Rain paper. Actually, I've never lost data because I haven't written on Right in the Rain paper. All right. Are we taking measurements in this thing? How deep is it? Ew.
It's deeper than it looks.
Ew, David.
We can tell you.
Netflix show. All right, right now you take depth, which is important just because it tells us how likely this thing is. Oh, I keep forgetting to. The depth tells us how likely this is to dry up. If it's really shallow, of course, it's going to dry up. None of this ground is really going to dry up really that fast because sphagnum moss is very good at holding moisture. But tree frogs do need like much like birds. It's also a great place to hide. If you happen to see a predator up above, you know, dive in.
Right at 20.5 centimeters.
Right at 20.5 centimeters.
You already got the sundews in this area, right?
What?
You already got the sundews in
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you guys weren't in last week, here's some beautiful sundew specimens right here.
I think they're all round leaf.
Yeah. Oh, there it is right there. Yes, there is one sundew. Poor bug. Lucky sundew. We should have brought out the cage. All right, so this fancy gizmo that is one of the more expensive things that we buy in ecology is called a multimeter, meaning that it is a meter that measures multiple things. You do know that you have to take that thing off.
Yeah, well,
it's not going to measure anything.
I didn't get it.
Okay. So this thing measures what we call water quality parameters. That's some big words right there. It measures what the water is like. You know, if you get into a bathtub and it's hot or cold, that's the hot or the cold. That's how comfortable that bathtub is to be in. Well, amphibians like to be in bathtubs or little wetlands that are of very specific kinds of conditions. They like a temperature that's just right. They like a pH that's just right, meaning the acidity of it, how much acid is in there. Through their skin, and they don't want too many minerals like road salts. You know, that's dangerous to them because they can't regulate ion exchange through their skin. So this probe right here costs something like $1,000, and we treat it there with a lot of respect, which is why we should have a cage around this, but we don't. Anyways, do you know the various probes on this?
Could I identify them by sight? No.
Okay. So while Greg's holding this up, what we have here is a conductivity probe, and it's got two little holes in it because it's essentially measuring how much electric current moves. And this is an old-style pH probe that has a glass bulb on it, and then this right here is your dissolved oxygen probe. Okay, everything is reading a signal through this. I have this marked with orange stripes for some work in lakes to tell me how deep it is. And then everything is being read digitally on this probe right here, and we can set this to record. Go ahead, show us how we do it. okay. Yep, so just dip it in, and you want to move it around a little bit. Don't generate any air bubbles if you can, because air bubbles seems to be much more expensive ones, but for the field, I got to tell you, cheaper is always better, because things break in the field, and you want to make sure you can replace them if necessary. I expect that dissolved oxygen is going to be fairly low in this, but the pine tree frogs need conditions that are characteristic of this swamp. All right, Pine Barrens tree frogs like to be in 3.5 to 5 pH, which, if you don't know, is approximately the pH of soda, which is 4.5 in some weird states. Anyways, it is very characteristic of these Pine Barrens. They like acidic soils. And like everything else here. So what kind of readings are we getting, Greg?
So everything's still dropping, but it's currently at 5.4 pH.
5.4 pH, so that's on the low side.
0.5 4%. And we're getting, what is that, 56, 55.
All right, well, we're back live. Wait for me. It always happens. I don't know why. I have a connection. Yeah, I mean, I have a full strength connection.
So the pH is at 4.52 and still dropping.
So you know that 0.17 milligrams of oxygen per liter is completely anoxic, right? Normal levels are around 6 or 7. Always with the cutting out. Back. Again. Sorry about that. Looks like we're getting some more people coming in. Sorry. I don't know why. Every once in a while, it just always shuts off. We could that would be nice. All right, man. I mean, as long as it's wavering around, that conductivity is going to constantly vary.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the pH. It's moving just a little bit, but it's pretty much right on 4.41.
4.41 pH.
Right.
Conductivity.
Conductivity is
50.2.
Correct.
All right. Temperature.
Temperature is 19.9.
19.9.
0.11.
0.11. Jesus Christ, that's nothing. Holy. So there you go. Right here. See this thing right here? This thing 10. Man, not only are we not on write in the rain paper, but we're also writing with soluble ink. Man, Greg, I thought I taught you better than that. I thought I taught you better than that. You dip this thing in water and your notes are gone.
Well, I'll try not to dip it in water.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I throw it in water just to antagonize you. What? Say what now?
You can get a scanning app for your phone, so you can get a PDF of a document like that immediately, and then save it to a cloud.
Ugh. Oh, we'll dip it into the main. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know how to control it. It's a 4G connection. We're looking at ways of maybe getting a Wi-Fi spot so that I can get a strong signal here. Until then, hey, we're working with what nature gives us. What a beautiful area. What a beautiful area, folks. Absolutely great, except for unit distance. I don't like that. Sorry, Greg. All right, so while we're out here, guys, I hope that everybody is enjoying this lovely day out in nature, and I'm thankful that you guys signed in. I hope that you guys get out in nature as well. Be safe, wear a mask. Because people don't wear a mask right now. If I did, I would be able to communicate all that well. I hope that you guys get out to an area like this. I hope that you guys can see for it yourself. Are we done out here, Greg?
Yeah.
All right. So Greg has got 5 wetlands that we're going to hit up today. I don't know that we're going to hit them all up on this live stream. That's a little much. We're going to do at least one more. Yeah, it's running water. So we have to rinse off the probe. So he's just going to dip this into flowing water. So yeah, there you go. Oh, what a lovely, lovely, lovely day. For all of you who are signing on, please just ask any questions that you might have, anything that you're curious about. I am more than happy to answer it as best as I can. And please also just tell me where you're from, where you're tuning in from. Excuse me. Depending on that, more things. God help me, everything is going right now. Oh. Big old bumblebee. Our masked warrior. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. March onwards. Got to hit up the next one. 17 people on. That's fantastic. Sorry about that if you were listening before and it cut out. Just excuse my phone. Or rather, excuse the 4G connection and technology today, because I got a new phone. I can't grow it. Nice. I guess that's a pitch pine right there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, good. What's going on?
Well, and later when we show a picture of the gray tree frog, you'll see how well it blends into the pitch pine bark.
My video keeps on stalling. We got people coming on. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm here today, like I said, with Greg Fischer, who is a graduate student in our Stockton University's Professional Science program. If anybody is interested, this Sunday we have an open house at the university in which you can tune in and listen to our president speak, listen to the various schools speak. Also, join into some virtual information sessions with me and some other faculty and the various programs that Stockton has to offer. I'm talking about science and all that other, also talking professional science program, which Greg is a part of, doing research here. It is a fantastic program geared for professionals who would like to get a leg up in the field. So right now we're just walking back to the car. The next site is a little bit too far to walk to, and I got special permission to open the gate so that we can drive to it. What kind of car do you have, Greg?
RAV4.
Maybe your car would be better for this. I do have a Subaru. Subaru's good. I've always driven. It's different. Sorry for the wind, guys. Can't control that at all. There's my trusty baby. I named her Vincent after Starry, Starry Night, 'cause stars. And I just lost no idea what the reference I just gave. All right, Greg, so I'm going to give this to you to hold on to so I don't crash and kill us.
All right.
Buckle up. You don't have to focus it on me, just focus it on what's going on outside. I'll give you a tour of Stockton's campus, show you where we are. So this is, like I said, this is the southern part of campus. This is a dorm area. These are freshman dorms?
Right.
Freshman dorms, yeah. So if you, what?
The community gardens over there.
Yeah, why don't we just take a quick pit stop at the community garden? Maybe we'll do a tour of that as a future live stream, because it is really pretty. Maintained and managed by Stockton students. They do really well with it. It looks like it's thriving despite the pandemic. It looks like people got out here and still managed to get some stuff done. Look, they got a kale garden, and they got some sunflowers growing. They got some lavender. Oh man, they got a lot of stuff going on. That's fantastic. Yeah, so if you are a student, you just have to join the group, and you want to take control of more of it, you have to make a commitment. Of course, nobody wants a student who joins and doesn't get their hands. So, were you a part of it, Greg?
I was not, no.
Well, why not?
I was busy.
Busy.
We're going to give a shout out to a club, the Geology Club. That was mine.
The Geology Club. You rockheads. Wait, are you were a geology? No, you were a geology minor.
Yeah, I started as a geology major and then switched to environmental science.
I'll just say, like I said, the environmental science program at Stockton work very, very close with each other. We are pretty much intertwined. We share a lot of classes, and they're both really great program. If you like studying minerals, if you like studying mineral resources, if you like studying geological processes, that is a great program for you, as well as the marine science program. There's a lot of overlap between geology and the marine science program because there's a lot of oceanography geology that goes on. Yeah, that just dawned on me. I think it's over there, yeah? Yeah, I see it, and they opened up the gate. Right. I always forget which way to turn here, if it's left or right. Yeah, and it's an old cranberry. Well, I don't know what it is. There are cranberries there, but it's not a cranberry bog. You want to talk about what a spung is? Let's talk about spung.
This is actually the oldest wetlands on campus, and you can look at the historical aerial images, and the farthest back they go in this area is, I believe, 1930. And even on the 1930 aerial, you can see that this wetland, it's kind of what called spung. You can see that it's there all the way back to 1930, where.
Let's be clear. Spung. That's really important. Spung.
Yeah, and you can spell it with S-P-U-N-G, or you can also spell it with an O, but it's pronounced the same way. It's a Wisconsin glaciation era depression. So if you just
back when Wisconsin occupied New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was during the last ice age, basically, which was from about 75,000 years ago until about 11,000 years ago. And so you may know that the ice sheet extended down and covered parts of northern New Jersey, but it didn't get all the way down here. However, it was here by any means. It was still very, very cold, and it was very, very, very windy and dry. So what you had was the very strong wind coming down off of the ice sheet, and what they would do is come down off the ice sheet and travel our direction, south, and these winds would carve out like the spung we're going to, and then deposit whatever that material was in. It's not quite a dune because it doesn't meet all of the technical parameters to be called a dune. But it's essentially a dune.
Now, just to be clear about what he's talking about, because I know that we have a lot of young listeners on here. Glaciers, you know those big ice blocks? They really move land around. They imagine putting you onto a Walmart parking lot. It's not going to do anything, right? Now imagine blowing up that ice cube 1 billion times its size and then just dropping it. All right, and that's how a lot of wetlands form. As straight.
Don't come this way.
I think it's as those gigantic ice cubes form, they push the land down. Now, a spung is a very specific type, and I'm not a geologist. He'll tell you more about it.
If you're a fucking student, you want to know about Dimitrov's class.
I was going to say, if Mark's listening, he's probably just shaking in his he's so excited right now that we're learning about spungs.
And hopefully I didn't screw up on any of the details, but if you want to know more about spungs and really anything Pine Barrens, you can take one of the classes. He has two different classes on the Pine Barrens. Oh, this was not the right way to go.
It's okay. It circles around.
Okay. So, yeah, he has two different classes on the Pine Barrens that you can take. One is a GNM, General Science and Math course, and one is a GIS, Integrated Synthesis, something I remember the acronym is.
Geographic Information Systems.
Not that one. The other GIS, the General Education Requirement GIS.
Oh, that thing. Yeah, the one that I always get confused. Maybe
yeah,
it doesn't circle around.
I don't think it does, because this is where the old dump was.
Let's go get my car stuck somewhere. Nope.
Yeah, that's right there. I don't think this was the right way. I usually come from the A&S
Oh,
side.
you know what this is? This is the right of way. No, I have to. This is the right of way. For those of you that don't know, we are still on Stockton's campus, all right? I mean, if you've never been... I don't know where I'm... Oh, shoot. I said shoot, not the other one. Yeah, we're still on Stockton's campus. And we are so privileged to be working in this kind of area. I mean, I have never been at a university when nature has been right outside of my door. I am going to hit that pine tree. There we go. Okay, let's not get my... Maybe some other time I'll tell you about the time that I got a truck stuck, and then I got the AAA truck that came to get me out stuck. So they had to call another AAA truck and get me unstuck.
Well, let's try to avoid that. this time.
So if you don't know, right here, this is a future site. It's 5 acres of going to be reforested land as part of the no.
Straight.
What do they call it? No forest left. Lost. Stockton had to deforest a portion for a new parking lot, and so as a responsible Pine Barrens resident, we have to replant forest elsewhere. And so all right, definitely took a wrong turn.
Yeah, but we're on our way.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. It's okay. We'd still be walking here if we couldn't drive.
Yeah. And so where which I was over, but we are on our way now towards the edge, the eastern edge of Stockton's campus, closer to the way. This is the most southeastern site that I'm going to be surveying for my project, and it's also one of the places where Pine Barrens have been flooded before. But the last time that happened was over 10 years ago. The last confirmed sighting of one was 2003 in this area. So we're just going to be looking out. It's a little bit further.
This is
the replanting area.
This is the replanting area, not that other site. That makes sense.
It was a field for the longest time.
I know. When I first came out here, I was like, what the heck is this field doing out here? I think they painted for the deer population, I want to say.
Yeah, what I talked to, I think it was David Wood.
Yeah, David.
And he was telling me that they just recently planted that. I think it was back in beginning of March, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit before that. That's it. As part of that no net loss thing.
All right, you tell me where to go.
Yeah,
if you look
just
out right
slow
there,
down, it's going to be on the left. I have a pink marker.
Let's use a pink marker. I had a friend who used a white and green marker to tag sites.
Yeah, that's no good.
Like, what the heck?
So on the right is some of like the Parkway borrow pits.
It's really, really shallow right now, man.
Yeah,
Dry.
normally if you come here a different time of year, that's
Hang on. So, right, we are still on Stockton's campus. This is an often not studied part of the campus because it's so out of the way. Okay, so you know, I haven't been back there. No.
It's really cool.
Oh, man, let's stop in. Also, if you're listening, the Marine Science program is doing a live on Monday with Dr. Zimmerman. Lacey, jeez, got my names confused. Dr. Elizabeth Lacey is doing a live stream Monday on a boat in her flippy floppies. Is that an old reference at this point? Oh my God! Greg doesn't know the reference of flippy floppies. So yeah, guys. So this is an old. This is the borrow pit. Yeah. So when they because they borrowed soil from it when they built the parkway. They borrowed soil, so by borrowing soil, they created a wetland. And we have two of these types of wetlands on campus. The one is Lake Pam on the northern part, or north central part, and then this one. Really having road trails going through it, then it's great to have tree frogs, guys. I mean, this is great habitat. If you come on out here, you are going to hear tree frogs calling at night for sure. And like I said, for eastern gray tree frogs, which are your lower trill, and copse tree frogs, which are your higher trill, and then your Pine Barrens tree frogs, which hopefully you might hear, which are going to be quack, 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 quack. Did you get that? Quack, 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 quack. Anyways, if you're not familiar, sweet gum, one of the 2 gum species that are very common in Pine Barrens. Haven't seen any comments on this live stream. I don't know what's going on. Guys, give a shout out. Maybe comments. I wonder if that's the case.
I'm looking now.
Like turned off on us. No. Oh well, people just aren't interested.
Susan had a question. Does the device only record when it hears the exact kind of stuff? The answer to that is no, it'll record.
Sorry, Susan. I logged out back in. Very difficult to watch and follow with all the transmission interruptions. Says the device only record. Awesome Fishman. Sound is good. Sound. Broadcast again. You should get in touch. Bruce from Audubon, Grad 77. Continue in and out. What 3 species? Can he speak loud? Harder somewhere, and you're losing signal as you go deeper. Hello, yes, I can hear you. Can't hear him. What else? Stopped. I can hear you. Can you repeat what he says? You about to give up on your videos? We can hear you. I can hear you. Oh my goodness! All right, I'm going to take. Oh boy! All right, I'm taking off. Phone here. Apparently it works good. All right, yeah. And I apparently have not been seeing any comments. Let's go in. All right. Yeah, so the device records. The device records all sounds. There's what? Oh, the device records all sounds, but it will. We have software backend that will distinguish what is. It will distinguish what is actually. Tree versus non-distinguishing species. All right, guys. I don't know what the heck is going on. I might have to get the phone. Take this one back. I don't know what's happening. The one back. Yeah. What else is the pink tape there for?
It's just similar. Because all woods kind of look the same. You must look closely.
Right, so the pink tape is there just to distinguish that's opposite. Man, I haven't been out to this area. That's nice. Oh man, I always discover. There was a frog. There was a frog. There was a frog. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna try and zoom in on it. No, we can't. All right, let's see if I can observe it, guys. There's a frog. Oh, he's so camouflaged. He's looking. He's looking. You guys see him? You guys see him? Aw, hi frog. Now that is That's not a frog. That was a green frog, Lithobates clamitans. Which are also common here. Oh man, check out this place. This is gorgeous. All right, what can I hold for you? Here, give me your. You want to?
You can cord. Yeah. There's already a spider? Yeah, that's just a spider.
Cord. Pen. Pencil. Pen. Pencil. And thank you for the suggestion about how to do live streams. Guys, I'm new at this, so I will figure it out. All right.
All right. Normally you can see tree swallows kind of swooping in and the index of the vegetation here, but I don't see any right now.
A little hot.
Yeah.
Also, it's midday. All right.
All right. Now, I've never come out here with waders before, so I don't know how deep it is yet. We'll find out.
If anyone listening to this live stream has suggestions about how to improve the quality of it, please do comment, and I will. I guess I can't look at it right now for some reason, but I will look at it later. I really hope it continues in the future, and I'll get it right eventually. Until then, I guess we're just stuck with low-quality videos. If it means just getting a different phone, I can take this one back, no problem, and get a better one that's used for video. Yeah, so, make right out. All right, Greg is in his super attractive waders. Why he's carrying his backpack, I have no idea. That is an ill choice. You know what it is? We'll call it sedge, which is 1/3 of all grass. For those of you who don't know, and thanks to those of you who are signing back on. For those of you who don't know, all right, there are sedges, rushes, and what did I just forget? Sedges have edges, rushes are round. Oh, and grasses. I'm an idiot. Something was just running around. Right, so you have sedges and rushes. The way that you differentiate between all of them, rushes are round in shape, sedges are triangular and have edges, and grasses, well, the way that I was taught to remember it is called grasses have asses. Grasses have a little ball at the bottom. Let's see what other wildlife we can find, guys. Let's go spelunking for the Pine Barrens. Because of all this sphagnum moss, it's going to be fairly low acidity. You can trace that acidity, that really low acidity. It is the sphagnum moss, but also the geology of this area, correct? Yeah, so a lot of the iron in the area. From the underlying green sands, he's saying.
But there's also a large microbial component.
Yeah. That's on hand. Currently holding a pencil with my mouth. All right. 25.9 centimeters. All right. As you guys can see, taking some notes right here. I think it may just be a matter of getting a different phone. I just got a new phone, but it was a replacement for my old phone from an insurance. But my old phone, so I can get myself like a brand new model. Dunk it in. You think out there? Oh! Every from distance. No, it's a him. It's a him. If he's calling, it's a him.
Oh, this is really low.
pH, you mean? Oh, the pH is low.
Actually, no. But it's currently at 3.9.
3.9 pH. Man, that is pretty acidic. If you guys don't know, that is... Whew. Now, just a little bit of ecology here while Greg is taking some measurements. Oh, there's another great tree frog there. I don't know what the heck's going on. A little bit of ecology. This whole area is on its way to being land. Eventually, the peat moss is going to build up and up and up and up, and over time, all of this vegetation is just going to be non-decomposed vegetation, and it's just going to fill in, and eventually we're going to get trees. You can start to see some of the trees already encroaching on the area. I saw a few maple seedlings already growing. All right, do we have a pH? It's gonna constantly move around. Oh. All right, go ahead. That is very low, folks. Conductivity? 89. That is actually low. We're seeing salt. All right, go ahead. Temperature. 21. 4.6. Dissolved oxygen. 6.2. All right, vegetation present in surrounding water. We have some sphagnum moss. We definitely have some pitch pine. No, we don't have any pitch. Cedar and some high bush blueberry. All right. Names Aaron and Greg Fischer. Site number 2? I don't know.
You called it
Spunk. All right, folks, we're here. Thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it. Next week, I'm just going to figure out this situation. Please do send me a message if you're doing this. Thanks. Bye.